Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is I, Jolting Joe, coming to you from my back porch on Monday, August the 14th. It's 100 degrees out here, but we gotta do what we gotta do what we gotta do. You know what I mean? So we're out here. What are you drinking? What are you smoking? As far as smoking goes, let's see here. We got Rocky Patel, the 1999 Connecticut. All right, so something light today, but yeah, we're gonna party like it's 1999, baby. All right. Hmm. And then, what are you drinking? Well, since we're smoking light, we're also gonna drink light. And what we're gonna drink is the Troy Aikman beer that I've got left. I've got like 6 of these left, about a 12 pack. So I had 8 eights left. So, but anyway, yeah, good old Troy Aikman beer. All right, but into the koozie. Get into the koozie. Ah, good sound. Good sound. Mm. Cheers. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so from. Hmm. I rather mention a couple things last week. Now, number one, just real quick. Uh, NFL preseason started. Commanders beat the Browns. It doesn't matter. It's just the preseason. Who gives a shit? Okay. And we'll get into baseball. We know if we got any time left. But as far as that goes, any kind of way to get you caught up on that. And then is that it? Oh, there's really much going on. There's not much NBA news or anything. NFL news. I mean, we got fantasy football coming up. I got my fantasy draft coming up. I am the reigning fantasy champion. I did get a little championship belt made, so we'll see if it gets here in time. But probably should have ordered it like a long time ago. But yeah, whatever. But yeah, as far as that goes. But yeah, I mean, Saquon Barkley is back with the Giants. Jonathan Taylor may come back to the Colts. We'll see how that shakes out. Joe Burrow's going to be out, so for a while, and yeah, I'm gonna try and get Pat Mahomes again, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I can pick him up in the third round, but we'll see. Oh, I might draft him in the second round. I don't know. We'll see. Trying to go for a quarterback until at least third round. If it's Pat Mahomes, uh, so we'll figure it out then. But we did not get to last week, and that I mentioned was a couple of things. Number one was the fight between Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians and Tim Anderson of the Chicago White Sox. Now, they were playing in Cleveland. Cleveland was losing the game, and Jose Ramirez got a double, slid head first uh, into second base, and Tim Anderson was basically straddling the base, so Jose Ramirez literally went between his legs. And he reached up like, hey, can you help a brother out? And Tim Anderson basically said, fuck you, in not so many words. And so Jose Ramirez got up, got in Tim Anderson's face, and they started chirping. Ump comes in. And the ump comes in, and they kind of start, and the ump's trying to like play peacemaker, and then both of them throw their dukes up. At which point the umpire's like, "Fuck it, I don't get paid enough for this shit." And he bounced back, and it was just basically like fucking Mills Lane. Let's get it on. After, oh man, after that, and punches were thrown, punches were landed, and Jose Ramirez did get a piece of Tim Anderson. Anderson did go down. It was great. The Cleveland Guardian radio announcer, who was calling the action, went full Howard Cosell on this, and goes, "Down goes Anderson, down goes Anderson." It was pretty great. Bullpens emptied and everything. There was a whole melee of all kinds of stuff as far as that goes. And so I had the suspensions here. So So for the melee, let's see where we're at here. Tim Anderson was suspended 6 games, while Jose Ramirez only got 3 games. I guess because they figured that Anderson started it and that Ramirez was basically finished it, as it were. So Tim Anderson got double the games, but it was a whole brouhaha. If you haven't seen the video yet, it happened last week. You need to go watch it. It is highly, highly entertaining. It is fan-fucking-tastic. Just watch the mayhem ensue. It's great. But like I said, Jose Ramirez did land me. It looked like Tim Anderson got one in. Ramirez got one. But as far as baseball fights go, it was a pretty good baseball fight. I mean, they were actual punches thrown. Because usually baseball fights aren't very good. The reason for that is most of the time those guys don't want to fight. The best, the absolute best baseball punch was Roughneck Odor just wailing Joey Bats, when he slid in, Batista came up and Roughneck Odor just bam, right on the jaw, just nailed him. That was probably the best punch ever, and I know I was never a huge fan of Joey Bats. So when Odor ducked him, that was freaking fantastic. That was when they was with the Rangers. That was good shit. And then of course there was back in the day, of course also with the Rangers, Nolan Ryan when he was like 42 or something. Him and Robin Speedbag Ventura. That was a classic one too. Just Nolan Ryan got him in a headlock. Whap, whap. Taking the young men to school. That was great. But that was actually facing Nolan. Robin Ventura did not get he declined the interview for that, which a little sad he did. But basically there was basically the White Sox and the Rangers, they were in the same division at that time, and they were playing each other a lot. What we got? Yeah, this is just kind of a weird thing. It was a girl. Okay. So the MLB is investigating a social media post involving Wander Franco and apparently a girl in the social media post. Now, that makes me wonder if it was either A, an underage girl, or B, harassment, or C, both A and B. Here's from Jeff Passan. This is kind of coming up later today. Major League Baseball launches an investigation into the Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco, and the team placed him on restricted list after social media posts questions the alleged nature of a relationship between Franco and a younger woman. Sources familiar with the situation told ESPN. Franco, 22, did not make the trip with the Rays to San Francisco, where they began a 3-game set on Monday. Teams can use the restricted list. Okay, let's see. In a statement, the team says the Tampa Bay Rays and Wander Franco have mutually agreed that he will go on the restricted list and take leave from the club for the duration of the current road trip. The league's inquiry, conducted by its Department of Investigation, is looking into a number of social media posts concerning Franco's relationship with a woman in the Dominican Republic, where he grew up. Franco did not play Sunday, which Rays manager Kevin Cash said he planned day off, and after starting the game in the dugout left in the 5th inning, he did not speak to the media after the game. In November of 2021, the Rays and Franco agreed to an 11-year, $182 million contract extension, 70 games into his career. Franco's been one of the most productive players in MLB this sitting. He's hitting .281 with a 344 on base and slugging 475, 17 home runs, 58 RBI, and 30 stolen bases. So there you go. Also, this was just an interesting story, too. Apparently retired NFL star Michael Oher, who, of course, The Blind Side was based, the movie. Made an allegation. Let's see. Oh, we got the mower coming by. Right there, out there mowing kind of my bio over here. Alright, but it says retired NFL star Michael Oher. This is by Michael Fletcher of ESPN, by the way. whose supposed adoption out of grinding poverty by a wealthy white family was immortalized in The Blind Side, petitioned a Tennessee court Monday with allegations that the central element of the story was a lie concocted by the family to enrich himself at his expense. Let's see. Alleged that Sean and Leah Tui, who took Orr into their home as a high school student, never adopted him. Instead, less than 3 months after Orr turned 18 in 2004, the petition says the couple tricked him into signing a document making them their conservators, which gave them legal authority to make business deals in his name. Woo! The petition further alleges that the Tuoleys used their power as conservators to strike a deal that paid them and their birth children millions of dollars in royalties for an Oscar-winning film that earned more than $300 million, while Orr got nothing for a story that, quote, would not have existed without him. In the years since, the Tuoleys have continued calling the 37-year-old their adopted son and have used the assertion to promote their foundation, as well as Leah Ann Tuoleys' work as an author and motivational speaker. Let's see if there's anything else. Two family didn't really return phone calls. Yeah, it says the petition says all monies made in said manner should be all conscience and equity be disgorged and paid over to the said ward, Michael Orr. Let's see. If Orr had been adopted by the Tuoleys, he would have been a legal member of their family, and he would have retained power to handle his own financial affairs. Under the conservatorship, Orr surrendered that authority to the Tuoleys, even though he was a legal adult with no known physical or psychological disabilities. Petition alleges the Tuoleys began negotiating a movie deal about their relationship with Orr shortly after the 2006 release of the book, The Blind Side: The Evolution of a Game, which chronicled the story. According to the legal finding, the movie paid the Tuoleys, their two birth children each, $225,000 plus 2.5% of the film's defined net proceeds. The movie became a critically acclaimed blockbuster, reportedly grossing more than $300 million at the box office and tens of millions more in the home video sales. Let's see. The petition alleges a separate 2007 contract purportedly signed by Orr appears to give away to 20th Century Fox Studios the life rights to his story without any payment whatsoever. Finally, it says that Orr has no recollection of signing that contract, and even if he did, no one explained the implications to him. Let's see. They're not making that much money. They said they divided it 5 ways. Yeah, this is kind of a long fucking article. Alright, but I kind of wanted to read to see what the fuck was going on with that. Damn, that thing's still going. Okay, there you go. Alright, boom, done. Alright, as far as that goes. Okay. Let's see. Was that? Yeah, that was it. Okay. So there you go. Alright, let me go through kind of the MLB standings real quick here, and we'll kind of get in that, and then the rest of this time we're going to talk about this realignment shit, because that's what we're going to talk about that last week too, because that's when all this shit kind of came down. Alright. Alright. Standings, updated standings here. All right. Now the Astros went up to Baltimore, took 2 out of 3 from Baltimore. The Rays, they were kind of scuffling a little bit. Of course, their number one pitcher, their ace, Shane McClellan, he's on the IL. He's probably not pitching the rest of the season. He's probably done for the rest of the season, so that's not good for Tampa. Tampa currently is 3 games back of Baltimore. Toronto's 8 back. So the division's really coming out of Baltimore and Tampa. That's what it's really going to come down to. It was between those 2 teams. Everybody else is pretty much out of it. I mean, Toronto's at 8, Boston's at 11, and the Yankees still bringing up the rear 13 back. In the Central, Minnesota's got a 4.5 game lead over the Guardians. Looks like Minnesota's going to end up winning that division. And then, and that's, that division sucks. It's trash. Sorry if you're a White Sox, Royal, or Tiger fan or Guardian fan, but that division's trash. Like the Yankees, who are in last place in the AL, in the AL East right now, they would actually be in second place in the Central right now. Okay. The last place Yankees would be in second place in the AL Central. So there you go. In the West, of course, Texas still has a 2.5 game lead. Giants going to give us any help, man. Us Astro fans any help. Astros took 2 out of 3 from the Angels, and then the Rangers at the same. So it's still two. It's for the Giants. So it's still 2.5 games there. Seattle 6.5 back. Seattle's been quietly creeping up. That's the thing about Seattle. Like Seattle, like the first half of the Seattle season sucks. Like Seattle doesn't turn it on until freaking August. When August rolls around, like Seattle has like the greatest 2 months in baseball. But if the Mariners could ever be fucking consistent throughout the year, they'd actually be a decent ball club. But fucking hell, man, they always get off to a shit fucking start. And then, like I said, about late July, they play the greatest 2.5 months of baseball ever. And then they get into the postseason. But they're kind of creeping up a little bit. And then, like I said, I mean, the Astros took 2 from the Angels. Angels are at 11.5 back at this point. NL East, we got Atlanta. They're going to win that division. They got an 11-game lead. That thing's over with. Central, Milwaukee's got a 3.5 game lead over both the Cubs and the Reds. And then they're the only 2 teams in contention. Everybody else is way the fuck out of it. And then the Dodgers have an 8.5 game lead over the Giants. Now the Giants losing 2 out of 3 to the Rangers over the weekend. And of course the Dodgers, I mean, they're going to win that fucking division too. So there you go. Wild card is going to be a little bit more entertaining. Right now, Tampa Bay is holding on to that first wild card spot. Houston has the second wild card spot. Toronto has the third wild card spot. Seattle, though, just a 1.5 games back of Toronto for that final wild card spot, whereas Boston is 3 back, and the Yankees are borderline out of it at this point. They're 5 back of the wild card. The Angels are 6.5 back. So right now, I would say battling for that last wild card spot, you've got Toronto, Seattle, Boston, and then the Yankees are kind of borderline there. All right, because like I said, once you get to like 5 games back, especially coming down to the end of the season here, it's really, really hard to kind of deal with that. Let's see. Can I let that go a little bit more? I think I can let that go a little bit more. We'll see. All right. And then we got the mower going by again. There we go. There you go. Mowing the grass. Mowing the grass. All right. National League wild card. Phillies got the first wild card right now, followed by San Francisco, and then Miami is barely hanging on by their fingernails to that third and final wild card. The Cubs and Reds are only half a game back each of that final wild card spot. The D-backs are only 2.5 game out. And then, like I said, then it gets a little sketchy after that because San Diego's 5.5 back. So they're kind of borderline right now. So really, once again, it's kind of a 3-team race there with Chicago, Cincinnati, and Arizona trying to get in. And like I said, kind of the same thing in the American League where you got Seattle, Boston, and a little bit New York kind of getting in there too. So really, that's what it's going to come down to as far as that goes. So it should be an interesting go here. So let's see. The Astros have, speaking of the Marlins, the Astros have a 3-game set with the Marlins starting today. And then I think and the Rangers have a 3-game set with the Angels, and the Angels are just fucking horrible. Shohei Ohtani's going to go someplace else. I went to the game on Friday. Went and saw JV make his Astros home debut for the second time because there was the 2017 and then this year. All right, and then it was kind of weird too because I saw him pitch for the Mets in Houston when he came back. So I saw JV pitch for the Mets in Minute Maid Park, and then I saw him pitch for the Astros in Minute Maid Park. So there you go. And except for yesterday, Ohtani really don't think did all that much. Ohtani hit a fucking monster shot, a Yordan Alvarez shot, if you will, hit the top of the batter's eye yesterday. He kind of hit to the left of the batter's eye, so the ball actually hit and then it kind of ricocheted back, but it was a 400 and crazy something plus foot home run. It was freaking nuts. So anyway. All right. So also last week what happened that we forgot to kind of get into was the whole realignment with college football. And we'll just spend the rest of the time talking about that. And let me make sure I pull this shit up because I can't remember who the fuck went where. Okay. All right. So basically, long story short, the Pac-12 is done. They have imploded. They're done. There's 4 teams left in the Pac-12. 4 out of 12. 8 teams have bolted from the Pac-12. I know Stanford and Cal are still in, and then I think Oregon State and Washington State are the only 4 teams that are left in the Pac-12. So the Pac-12 is now the Pac-4. Okay. Now USC and UCLA, they were the first to go. They went to the Big Ten. Then last week, Oregon and Washington also jumped ship and went to the Pac-10. Oregon and Washington jumped ship, and they moved to the Big, and they went to the Big Ten. Sorry, not the Pac-10, the Big Ten. All right, Mower's coming back around again one more time. I'm gonna be allowed for a second. I'm letting him pass. I think this should be his last pass here. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. That's weird. Anyway, so like I said, UCLA and USC were the first 2 to go. They went to the Big Ten. Then Oregon and Washington moved to the Big Ten. All right, so that was 4 teams right there. Then Arizona and Arizona State decided that they were jumping ship, and the 2 of them went to the Big 12. Colorado left for the Big 12. And who am I missing? And then Utah, I think, has gone to the Big 12. Yeah, Utah, I think, went to the Big 12 as well, because because with the this year the Big 12 is going to have 14 teams because of UT and OU, and then OU and UT, because everybody's coming in, and then they're going to, Central Florida, U of H, all those people, they're all coming in, and then of course the plan was for to get back to 12 when OU and Texas leave next year for the SEC. Then so now the Big 12 is going to be up to 14 permanent teams now, because now I think it's 14. I've lost track of the shit. The Big 10 is going to have 18 teams now, and the SEC is going to have 16 teams now. I don't know where the ACC's at. I think the ACC is probably going to be the next conference to go, because if you're the SEC, why not take a run at Clemson? Why not take a run at Florida State? Try and snag those 2, put them in the SEC. That brings you up to 18, equal with the Big 10. And then Big 12 gets everybody else. You end up with 3 major conferences with 20 schools in them. But it's got really fucking nuts with that. And kind of the thing with this is, number one, the whole reason this is happening is because of money, right? First and foremost, that is the only reason this is happening, is because of money. The second reason this is happening is because of football, all right? Is basically what's happened, okay? All right. Now, because you've got these networks, CBS, ABC, which is part of ESPN too. So ESPN/ABC. You've got Fox, NBC, okay, shelling out billions, with a B, billions of dollars for these contracts. Now, of course, the whole reason that UT and Oklahoma are going to the SEC is because the SEC's got more fucking money. It's the only reason they're leaving. They got more fucking money. Why is everybody bailing on the Pac-12? Pac-12 couldn't get a TV deal done. Alright? Everybody starts looking around. Big Ten's got a good TV deal. Big 12's got a good TV deal. Pac-12 ain't got a good TV deal. Let's fucking leave. They're down to 4 fucking teams. 4. They're down to out of 12. And of course, I've seen 2 things. One was a quote from the head coach of Missouri, and I have no idea what this fucking name is. I just saw it because nobody gives a shit about Missouri football. I don't think Missouri gives a shit about Missouri football. Uh, just the facts. It's kind of like it's kind of like Duke. Nobody cares about Duke football. They're a basketball school, but anyway, basically the coach was saying we didn't ask these student athletes if they wanted to move. We just did it. And of course the reason they did it was because of money. I mean, that is the contributing factor to everything is the money that these conferences are making. SEC is making a shit ton of money. Big Ten's making a shit ton of money. Big 12 is making a shit ton of money. Everybody wants to go where the money is. That's why this is all happening. And now, like I said, the ACC might be next. I think we're going to be down to 3 conferences, which is kind of crazy because I thought we'd still have the Power 5 even with the expansion and stuff and the realignment, but now hell in the last few times it's like we're gonna be down to 3. We're gonna be down to 3. Okay. A lot of these Pac-12 schools are now either going to be in the Big 12, all right, which means Arizona to Texas, that's not a huge deal. Okay, I mean the travel time on that's not too bad. But I mean for football anyway. But at least with the Pac-12, I mean it's still a pretty good ways from LA up to Washington, right, or up to Beaverton. If you're up there, because you're down in SoCal and then you're going basically up the course northwards. But like I said, Arizona is kind of not too. Arizona, Texas, not too bad. Utah to Texas isn't too bad. But, when you're playing West Virginia, all right, West Virginia's in the Big 12. Central Florida's in the Big 12. All right, when you're Arizona and your softball team is going, they got to go all the way to fucking West Virginia to play something. And so basically people were like, this is going to be more class time missed. It's going to be more mental health issues because, of course, you're trying to deal with travel, you're trying to deal with sports, you're trying to deal with your class load, you're going to be, once again, missing classes. You've got student athletes that want to play in front of their family and their friends. They can't do it now because now they're playing a fucking road game in fucking West Virginia and they're in goddamn, going to fucking BYU, okay, or going to Utah. All right, or Arizona or whatever, or they're playing a game in Central Florida. Right? It's fucking ridiculous. And now USC, going to the Big Ten, playing all these East Coast fucking teams too, going across the fucking country to do it. It's fucking nuts, man. And the whole reason it's doing it is because of football, and they're doing it because of money. And Chip Kelly, hell, a buddy of mine's Scott Sosby, who's been on the show before. And Chip Kelly kind of said the same thing, and my buddy did the same thing. He's like, basically what you should do is leave the conferences fucking alone and still have your Pac-12 and your Big 10 and your Big 12 and still have your Power 5, all right? Go back to kind of the way it was and then just make football do it. Just let football go. Just let football do its own fucking thing. Have nothing, the NCAA have nothing to do with fucking football. Hire a fucking commissioner of college football, and the Chip Kelly said this too. Basically, have Tier 1, Tier 2, and everybody else. He said there's about 60 teams in the Power 5 right now. That's Tier 1. He says the non-Power 5 conferences, that's Tier 2, and then there's everybody else. All right, your MACs and your WACs and your all that, the Sun Valley, whatever the fuck, all that shit, right? Mountain West, all those would be Tier 3, okay? And he says, Tier 1 have their championship, Tier 2 have their championship, and then Tier 3 playing fucking bowls. And, that kind of seems to be the thing, and just let these other sports go because everybody, like I said, is worried about football. And these are football decisions because football's the moneymaker. All right, there's huge money in college football. All right, and they're doing it, and these colleges want the fucking money too. All right, because their funding's being cut by the states and shit, and that's why college tuition so. And that's a whole other political topic, but they're also classified as a fucking nonprofit, and so they got to put the money that they make a football back into the fucking school, right? And then they got to put it back in the program, which is why these college programs have nicer locker rooms than NFL teams do, because it just all goes back to the fucking goddamn, Jesus Christ, it's a clusterfuck. It's a clusterfuck. I just don't know what else to tell you, man. It's a cluster fuck right now. But it's going to kill all your other sports. Like, it affects basketball a little bit more, but like these basketball conferences now, look at the Big 12 now. You're going to have fucking Kansas, UH, K State, Baylor. I mean, it's going to be a Arizona. I mean, it's going to be a badass fucking conference, but they're going to just beat the fuck up on each other, during, and shit. It just really is fucking stupid. And then, but all your other, whether it's women's sports, which have, always struggled to get money, whether, it's softball or gymnastics or volleyball, or even if it's some of the other non-traditional games for guys, like it's lacrosse, it's soccer, it's golf, it's, baseball, stuff like that. What the fuck are these universities going to do with travel, man? It's fucking nuts. It's just fucking nuts. So, there you go. We'll talk more about realignment as we get on. But we'll leave it there on that note. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a good rest of y'all's week. Remember to find me on Twitter at JJSportsShow63. That's at JJSportsShow63. Cheers, everybody. Have a good one. We'll talk to you next week. All right. Well, did not stop. Try this again.